Hi everyone, I'm Roy Holman here on a Friday afternoon. I just posted something on Facebook and some people were, as usual, questioning what I say, sometimes nicely, sometimes not so nicely. And I realized if people are following the mainstream misinformation campaign, they're not going to be hearing about some of the voter fraud that's going on. So I want to report as briefly and quickly as I can a little bit about some of the examples of voter fraud that I'm hearing about behind the scenes, not in the mainstream. And before I do that, let's just start with the overview 30 seconds. There is what some of us say, an unstoppable shift going on this planet. So start with the big picture. It's so easy to get caught up in the drama because it is a big election. Let's face it, it's a very big election as far as planet Earth is concerned. And the big picture is that we've already decided to wake up. This planet is ascending, we say. A lot of people are waking up. And awakening, some of you know, is not always easy. It can be very jarring and messy and disconcerting and confusing. There's often chaos as a prelude, as a catalyst, you might say. And that's what we're getting. That's what 2020 is, a year of revelation, bit by bit, uncomfortable as it is. More and more people are seeing through this stuff. So I'm hoping to add to that. Do I have all the info? Of course not. We're all programmed. We're all receiving misinformation. But basically what we have going on here basically is tremendous voter fraud that was predicted, seen coming. So what does that mean? On the other side, there seems to be a sting. In other words, a setup. So, okay, if you are going to try to steal the election, we're going to set it up so we catch you. And I think this is what happened. But let me get back to here's some of the examples that you may not be hearing about in this election. Because remember, this is like a Hail Mary. The deep state has to win this election. They had to. This is like they're losing on all counts. And Trump is not cooperating with them. And he happens to be the president of the most powerful country on the planet. And we are an important country. What happens here tends to go across the planet. So they needed him out, in short. They needed Trump out. Because I know you guys, many of you hate Trump. We are programmed, socially engineered to hate this man more than any man probably since Adolf Hitler. Think about why is that? Is it possible that you're being engineered? We all have. I hated him. I'm a lifelong Democrat. So this is not a Democrat-Republican thing. I'm on the side of truth. That's why I'm saying this right now. This is not about, I like Republicans or Trump just happens to be a Republican right now. And that's why the deep state, who uses, blackmails, and compromises anyone, left, right, Democrat, Republican, you name it, mainstream media especially, they will use whoever they need to. And of course the Democrats, they needed to support and compromise and blackmail because they needed Trump out. I don't think it's going to work. But first, here's some examples. Project Veritas, who does great work. They gather information on fraud in many areas, but in this case, they have now thousands of different whistleblowers calling in and tips coming in. They have dozens of investigators that are right now looking into some of the voter fraud. Michigan, I just heard this one this morning, 47 different counties have this faulty software that happens to turn Trump votes into Biden's. One county had 6,000 that turned them into Biden votes. That's interesting. Pennsylvania, tons of stuff going on. In Philadelphia and all over the country, there are batches, tens of thousands of votes coming in late, all for Biden in most cases. Isn't that interesting? 200,000 of those had no down vote. Just president they voted, which is very unlikely. They're not allowing legal observers, Republicans especially, they're not allowing Republican legal observers. This is Pennsylvania still. Tons of other issues here. Detroit blocked windows. A lot of videos are coming up of people. Project Veritas has some of this information. Bosses, employers have UPS stamping out the date, making it November 3rd instead of November 4th. Instead of an illegal late ballot, marking it the day before so it's legal and counting it. Sharpies in at least Arizona, maybe you heard of other places, but people at the polling stations were taking people's pens and giving Sharpies, and Sharpies apparently are not going to work. Those will be discounted. And there's a lot of evidence and witnesses for that. A lot of the problems are in swing states. Interesting coincidence. Miraculous Biden comebacks. They were calling them quick for Biden, but they weren't for Trump. And some of that could be because of the mail-in votes, but it seemed like they were just holding it up until they got enough votes. More on that will be coming out. Milwaukee, 7 different Milwaukee wards had more votes than registered voters. And then Biden seems to be doing amazing among dead voters in the over 110-year age category. 21,000 in Pennsylvania, all for Biden. The dead votes seem to be coming in for Biden. Biden's victory, or votes, I should say, were 8 times what Obama's were in certain areas. Now think about that. Obama, I voted for Obama. People were excited, right? How many are excited about Joe Biden? I know some people just want to get Trump out, right? Because we're programmed against him. But think of that. Biden outdoing Obama 8 times in certain areas. Does that make any sense? Look at the rallies. Oh my gosh. Just use common sense here. Look at the rallies. I should say, the polls were fake. They were fake in 2016. They were fake this time. We were led to believe that Biden has the lead up until the election. For months they were saying that that's a psyop. That's to prepare us. So people would be expecting Biden to win. And then if Trump happened to win, people could take to the streets because they'd be shocked and disappointed and think that Trump stole it. But the opposite. It's often 180. It's opposite. That's not what was going on here. They knew they were going to steal the vote or try to steal it. So they built the expectations up, the programming. Yeah, Biden, of course, he won. We knew that. The same people were saying Russia, Russia, Russia. They were going to interfere with this. They could interfere with last time. Same people were saying, no way there can be fraud and interference in this election. Just think, use common sense here, right? Now, a couple other things. Trump has passed an executive order that if there is foreign interference in an election, there are big consequences, including, I think, taking all their assets in this country. Think of what that means. They saw this coming. This is something Trump's been attacked for being a liar, a divisive liar, fake media, voter fraud, and guess what? They're both true. They're both true. The media is fake. It is programmed. It is owned by the cabal deep state. And we saw this coming, this voter fraud. So what does that mean? If you see it coming, is there anything you can do about it? These guys are smarter than you think. I believe there's a sting in place. There are watermarks. Among many things, there's watermarks on the legal votes, the ballots, sorry. So they are going to be able to check all these ballots and see which ones are legal and which aren't. In other words, do not rest assured that Biden is going to be taking office in January. This is probably going to go all the way into December. Not just recounts, but probably audits and legal action, court case, all kinds of stuff. But I believe Trump is still going to take office in January, and all of us should be excited about that if you like life, freedom, children. All this is going to come out. So just I invite you to try to stay open to what I'm saying here. I don't like saying these things. I do not like being attacked by so many people that are programmed against Trump. You don't have to like his personality. The example I've heard recently is if your house is on fire, and our world is on fire right now, and a firefighter comes to your door, you want to ask for his or her credentials or background check or say, I don't know if I like your personality. Trump is here to help put out a fire. You will be shocked when you hear what he is doing. He's a tough guy, and I'm liking him more and more after hating him for the last 2 or 3 years. It's pretty amazing. He needs our support, so please just open your mind. That's all I'm asking. Lastly, I'll just say there's going to be some good news coming out of this. Very good news. See, this is not just about an election. It's not about Trump or Biden or left or right. This is about ending millennia of abuse and deep state shenanigans. Really ugly stuff. So keep in mind that this is a good thing. It's really messy right now, but this is going to be helping us make safer elections in the future, for one thing. It's going to expose a lot of swamp creatures. Left, right, Republican, Democrat, mainstream media is going to be very different in the future after it comes out how they were part of this fraud. Very interesting. So breathe and know on a bigger level, all is well. If you want to join us next Thursday, whatever the date that is, the 12th, we're going to have at 6 o'clock Pacific time, we'll have a Zoom call. Let me know if you want the link to that. And we're just going to share a little bit, kind of like what I shared here today. Invite anybody to join us. Anybody that is kind with an open mind, no matter what political views you have, is welcome. This is not about, again, being divided. We've been purposely divided, but united we stand, huh? So thank you for listening, and hang in there. Things are shifting in a very messy way, but a very beautiful way, I believe. I believe the light wins. God's got this under control, if you want to put it that way. Great Spirit, bigger than this. It's bigger than elections, bigger than right and left, much bigger than one man Trump and one man Biden. So thank you all. Blessings.